Hello, good morning, students. In the last lecture, we had seen that the author was thinking that he would take an English breakfast with his family members. Fine, so let's move further. I know I could not fly up over them, and I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south. So, in the last lecture, we had seen that the author was thinking to have an English breakfast with his family members, but what had happened? That there was a black cloud and the storm was also there, so he was not able to cope up with the atmosphere, and as the fuel was also limited with him, he is saying that to save himself from that storm he could not even move in the north direction or to the south direction. If he was having enough fuel, might be possible that to save himself from that storm he can move in the north or south direction, but as he was not having the desired fuel, he cannot move. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. I will take the risk, I thought, and flew the old Dakota straight into the storm. So first he is thinking that he should go back to Paris. But he is thinking that if I will go back to Paris, it is not possible that I will be able to take the English breakfast with my family. So he is saying that no, let me take the risk. And after thinking this, he just moved his old Dakota aeroplane into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. So the storm was so high and it was in such a worse condition that inside the clouds everything was suddenly black. He was not able to see anything outside the aeroplane, and the old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. I looked at the compass. I couldn't believe my eyes. The compass was turning round and round and round. It was dead. So the author was confused that as the storm was high and it was risky for him as well, he was thinking that in which direction the plane is moving. So he was just trying to look with the help of compass to have a look that from which direction the aeroplane is moving or in which direction the aeroplane is trying to get. But when he looked at the compass, he was totally shocked that the compass was moving round and round and round, and it was totally dead. So the compass, with the help of which he was trying to get the direction, was also totally dead. It could not work. Other instruments were suddenly dead too. I tried the radio, and so he is just trying to get the help of other instruments as well, but the other instruments were also totally dead, and so the last option was to take the help from the radio. Paris control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. So the last option that was left with the author was to call the Paris control room, but the Paris control room said that he could not get any answer from the Paris control room. So his radio was also dead, his compass was dead, and other instruments were also dead. So he could not see or he could not judge in which direction he was. He was totally lost into the storm. There in the black clouds quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. So in the dark clouds, the author could see that there comes another aeroplane. No doubt there were no lights in the aeroplane on the wings of the aeroplane, but he could see that the next aeroplane was flying next to me into the storm. I could see the pilot's face turned towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. So when the author saw the pilot's face of another aeroplane, he was excited that no, someone is there to help me. And the pilot was also looking towards the author. So he is saying that he was very glad to see the another person, and he lifted and waved his one hand. Follow me, he was saying, follow me. I know that I am lost. I thought he is trying to help me. So the pilot, who was sitting in that another aeroplane, says to the author that you just follow me, and I know that you had already lost. And the author thinks that he is trying to help me. He turned his aeroplane slowly towards the north in front of my Dakota so that it would be easier for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. So when the person or the pilot who was sitting in that another aeroplane turned his aeroplane towards the north in front of the old Dakota. He is saying that no, it will be easier for him to follow him. So he just goes into that direction behind that strange aeroplane like an obedient child. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now there was only enough of fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. After half an hour also, that strange black aeroplane was still moving further and the author's aeroplane was moving back. But now there was only enough of fuel which was left in the last tank of the old Dakota, and the plane would fly only for more than 5 to 10 minutes. I was starting to feel frightened again, but then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. And as the time passes, the strange aeroplane was started moving towards down and the author also followed him. Suddenly I came out of the clouds and saw two long straight lines of lights in front of me. It was a runway, an airport. I was safe. I turned to look for my friend in the black aeroplane in the sky, but was empty. So suddenly when the storm was over and he just came out of the clouds, he observed that there were two straight lines of lights in front of me, and that was the runway, an airport. So he felt that no, he is totally safe. And he tried to look for his friend. His friend was that strange aeroplane, the pilot sitting in that strange aeroplane. So he is trying to say that I want to look for my friend. But when he looks back, he sees that the sky was totally empty. There was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. I could not see anywhere. So the author is saying that he just tried to get something, but the black aeroplane has gone away. I landed and was not sorry to talk away, but the old Dakota near the control tower. So he landed at Black Dakota near the control tower, and he was totally sorry that he could not say thank you to that old strange person. I went and asked the woman in the control room where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you. So after landing the aeroplane, the author went into the control room and asked the lady sitting in the control room that who was that other pilot who helped me because I wanted to thank you. She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. The lady who was sitting at the control room just stared at the author, and he was trying to say something, but she just looked at him and laughed. On the aeroplane, up in the storm, no other aeroplanes were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. So when he just saw into the sight, that is radar, she said that no, another aeroplane in the storm. No, there was no other aeroplane in the storm. Yours aeroplane was the only one which was flying in the sky tonight. So who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or radio and without any fuel in my tank? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? So the author was thinking that who was that person who had helped me to reach over here safely without a compass nor a radio or without any fuel in my tank? So the author is thinking that who was that person. Thank you.